We good? Okay. Yeah, we're good. Hey y'all, welcome to the Butts County Chamber's newest program. Our Butts is going international. We are so excited to have Collette Travel Services here with us today. My friend Lindsay Hickman is here to answer all of the questions about our international trip taking place in 2026. Y'all have been asking a lot of questions. I do not have any answers, but we have invited her here today to answer all of them for you, and I hope that our friends on Facebook are tuning in so that they can utilize this information as well. Without further ado, please welcome Lindsay Hickman.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for having me here tonight. We really appreciate the partnerships we have with the different chambers around the state, and we're excited to help y'all get your travel program started. Working with people like Jacqueline is the best part of my job. So I love to help plan and strategize travel programs, and I'm excited for the trip we have planned for y'all. So I'm going to start it off with a video about Collette. So one of the things I always like to tell everyone is those are our actual travelers, those are our actual trips. So you continue to travel with us and you might end up in our next video. And the other thing is, you might not have noticed, but it did say 1918. So Collette is over 100 years old. We started with motor coach tours from New England down to Florida, and then went nationwide in the 70s, Europe in the late 70s, and international or worldwide in the 80s. So I've been doing this for a long time. So you're safe with us, a trusted company. But again, I want to thank you guys and the Chamber of Commerce here for having me and planning a trip with us. I'm excited to tell you all about the trip we have planned for you. You'll journey through the spectacular mountain scenery and picturesque cities as you experience 3 alpine countries in Europe. The hills are alive on this enchanting journey across Switzerland, Austria, and Bavaria. This is a 10-day trip, including 13 meals. And here is a tour at a glance, and kind of the overview. After your overnight flight from Atlanta to Zurich, you'll spend your first 4 nights in Bern, Switzerland, before moving to Innsbruck, Austria for your last 4 nights. And then afterwards, there's an optional post-tour extension for 3 nights in Vienna. So that just gives you a kind of a glance of where you'll be. This is a classic style itinerary, so it can hold up to 44 people on the trip. It's ideal for seeing the world's iconic destinations while having preferential access to the sites. It means you'll be skipping the lines and spend more time discovering your destination. The average size on our classic trips is 37 people, so 35 and 6 to 38, around there. And the activity level on this is a level 3. It's very much for the on-the-go traveler, one who doesn't want to miss anything. You'll be walking a lot throughout the day, 2.5 hours, not all at one time, but about on average. Especially in Europe, where you're going to be dealing with uneven terrain, cobblestone streets, lots of steps, and just kind of a different topography than what we're used to here in the United States. If you aren't walking that much, you can start walking today and be ready. I always want to encourage everyone that my mom comes home from her tours and she's like, I while I'm home. But your tour starts in gorgeous Bern, the capital of Switzerland, which legend says the city got its name from the first animal the founder saw while hunting, a bear. The cobbled Old Town section is so well preserved that residents who lived here 500 years ago would recognize and feel familiar in the streets. So you'll discover the old buildings, the cathedral, and the medieval clock tower pictured here. That evening, you'll join your fellow travelers for a welcome dinner featuring local cuisine. When I'm in Europe, it is all about the food. So a traditional cheese fondue dinner would be right up there on my top of my list. Your next day on tour, you'll start the day by exploring Bern on a panoramic sightseeing tour led by a local guide. You'll see the Swiss Parliament and the famous Bear Pit, which has been expanded since its original opening in the 1850s. You'll view the Gothic cathedral that dominates the Old Town skyline. And then from the Rose Gardens, you'll be able to see an incomparable view of the city below. So what I love about Europe are the old cities, how walkable they are, the history you can feel while you're there. So the remainder of the day, you'll explore the city independently. We really make sure to introduce you to where you are, the destination, and then give you the freedom to experience it the way you want to. With your free time, you can take the red carriages of the funicular railway up to the top of Girton Mountain. It's an altitude of 2,574 feet, and you can overlook the city of Bern with the impressive views. It's one of the most gorgeous areas of the world. Lots to see. The next day you'll depart Bern and head to the small mountain village outside of Interlaken, which is Habkern. Here is where we'll have an interactive yodeling, a professional demonstration. So this is one of the sounds that you'll hear out there. It's a classical postcard imagery of Switzerland, and enjoy the tour with the local workshop owner. And you'll learn how the horns are made, and maybe you'll find your musical side and give this instrument a try. So one of the great experiences that we offer about, through the local culture. And you'll finish your afternoon with another fondue lunch at a local restaurant before heading back to Bern for an afternoon at leisure. The next day you'll set out for Lucerne, which is the Swiss paradise on the lake. This town began with a Benedictine monastery in the 8th century and gained importance from its local location on the trade routes. This is one of the more gorgeous areas in Switzerland. It's really postcard perfect. You'll enjoy a leisurely pace walking through the old town of Lucerne, exploring the hidden treasures of the city. You'll walk along the Chapel Bridge, which is pictured here. It was built in 1333, and you'll see the famous 17th century paintings depicting Lucerne's history along the bridge. You'll notice the adjacent water tower that served as a prison, a watchtower, and a treasury. So, other sites in Lucerne include the town hall and the Baroque Jesuit church. It's over 800 years old. You'll also see the Lion Monument, carved from natural rock to commemorate his heroic Swiss Guard. It's located above a pond at the east end of the medieval town, and this dying lion represents the Swiss Guard soldiers who lost their lives while serving King Louis during the French Revolution. Went backwards. And then tonight you'll dine in one of Bern's great restaurants. For me, visiting Europe, like I said, is all about the food, so it's important to taste the local cuisine, try the local wines, really see how they live. The next day, you're en route to Innsbruck. You'll make your way through Liechtenstein, the smallest German-speaking country in the world, and the only country to lie completely within the Alps. So we're throwing in an extra country for free. You'll continue to Innsbruck, famous as a winter sports center and the site of the 1964 and 1976 Winter Olympics. It's situated in a mountain valley and dates back to the 12th century. As you wind your way through the narrow cobblestone lanes, you'll understand why Innsbruck was the center of European culture and politics during the 14th century. The history in Europe is just amazing to me. It's so cool to be standing somewhere and realize people have been there for thousands of years. And then, when you arrive in Innsbruck, it's your choice of how you'd like to spend your day. You can select one of the 2 leisurely walking tours. You can join a local guide as you discover the city's history and popular attractions. Or you can embark on a tour focusing on Innsbruck's unique architecture, as well as the famous ski jump. This sits in a stadium that can accommodate 26,000 fans. So that shows you how big of a sport it is there. The next day, you'll travel through picturesque Austrian countryside to Salzburg. Beautiful gardens, old world architecture, and friendly locals paint Salzburg's delightful canvas. The name means Salt Fortress, and this is the birthplace of Mozart. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site as well. You'll enjoy a leisurely paced walking tour featuring Mirabelle Gardens with its mythological statues. You'll recognize this from the famous Sound of Music film, which was filmed here, several scenes. And the other famous sites include the Gradigos, which is Mozart's birthplace, and many other highlights of this beautiful city. You'll complete your afternoon with a delightful lunch at the 1,200-year-old St. Peter's Restaurant. So it's the oldest restaurant in Austria and still owned by the monks who started it. And then you'll immerse yourself in Innsbruck during this day, a free day in this beautiful city. You can stroll through Old Town and shop at many of the city stores. You can relax and breathe in the mountain air while enjoying a beverage in one of the many cafes. That's one of my favorite things to do when I'm in Europe, is just kind of pop a squat in a cafe and watch the city go by. You know, it's how you learn how they live. But later you'll enjoy the rich musical tradition of mountainous Austria during a folklore show hosted by a locally well-known musical family, so Barry Von Trapp-like. The traditional costumes are the lederhosen, dirndls, and brightly colored embroidered fabrics. The dances are similar to jigs, with the most famous is the shoe-slapping dance. The instruments include the long Alphorn horns, cowbells, zithers, and harps. Yodeling is sometimes featured too. The next day you'll discover Bavaria and tour the Linderbach Palace, the only palace out of 3 that King Ludwig II lived to see completed. You'll walk the extraordinary halls, which were modeled after Versailles, and an expert guide and bask in the luxury of past royalty. And then you'll make your way to the Tall Abbey, a Benedictine monastery founded in 1330 by Louis IV. You'll turn to the tour to the Basilica, followed by a brewery tour, complete with tastings. And next, you'll return back to Innsbruck for your farewell dinner with your fellow travelers at a traditional Austrian restaurant. But the fun doesn't have to end, because you can extend your stay to a 3-night post-tour extension in Vienna. So one of the most gorgeous cities in the world. This is a hosted tour, so meaning you would be on your own. You would have a guide to help, but not with you at all times. So it may or may not be the guide from the main part of the tour, but it includes the overnight accommodation, daily breakfast, and transfers to and from the airport. So you can travel by train to Vienna, which is the largest city in Austria. As the country's capital, it's home to age-old traditions and well-known heritage, and it's the former center of the Habsburg Empire, as well as the home of historical figures such as Freud, Mozart, Beethoven, and Strauss. You'll start your day with a local guide, making your way through the city like locals do on public transportation, and you'll stop to visit Vienna's most popular sites. Pictured here is St. Stephen's Cathedral, built in the 12th century, standing at nearly 450 feet tall, and featuring an eye-catching mosaic roof. And then you'll have the afternoon on your own. And then that evening, there's an optional excursion to explore the interiors of the magnificent Schauenberg Palace and listen to a classical performance at the palace's orangery. So definitely some culture there. And then the next day you can stroll through the unique collections at the museum and take in the museum's exceptional atmosphere with its vast and valuable art treasures. At this wonderful gallery restaurant, you'll savor a taste of Viennese coffee house culture. And then the rest of the day is yours to soak up the Austrian culture and experience the city. And then your tour comes to an end that day. So several of the things that we offer with Collette is hometown pickup. We'll arrange for a spot here in the Chambers.
Yeah, Jackson.
With the Chamber at Jackson, and take y'all to the Atlanta airport. We'll also bring you back home at the end of the tour. If you do the extension, you'll also, transportation will also be included, so either day works. There's multiple ways you can upgrade and personalize your adventure. We have airfare upgrades, dining experiences, optional excursions, pre-nights, post-nights. So if you just wanted to go to the burn early or stay later, you can. And then you can also hop to another tour if you're already in Europe and want to do something else. One of the best things about Collette is we offer travel protection. So it's the travel insurance. It is canceled for any reason up to the day before departure for a full refund. So it's a cancellation, it is not a claim. So that's the travel insurance that is included, or not included in the price, but it's optional, and you would make that decision at time of deposit. And then once you're on tour, you're fully covered. So the travel protection plan turns into full coverage while on tour. So any type of medical assistance, evacuation, air disruption, baggage loss, or delay, it would cover that as well. So just to note, Collette offers that. We are a debt-free company and we are underwritten by TravelX, so it is insurance that we offer.
Approximately how much is the insurance?
The insurance for this trip is $549 per person, and there's no medical form or application. That's just across the board. I get the same price as your 18-year-old son or your 70-year-old mother. So one of the things we offer is the Passport Club. If any of y'all have traveled with Collette before, you would already be registered, and you would have a discount off of this trip. It's based off of your last trip. But you'll be automatically registered within the Passport Club when you sign up for this trip, and it's to encourage you to book. It's a 3-year look back. The quicker you book the next tour, the bigger your discount is. So, you are traveling internationally with this trip, so you do need a passport. We recommend that the passport be valid for 8 months past your return date. So, May 1st of 2026. You would want it to be good through February of 2027. So check that. You still have plenty of time, and if your passport has not yet expired, it is very easy to renew online. I just did mine in January, and it took maybe 3 weeks to get it. So very quick. One of the things that we're waiting to hear about is the ETIAS travel authorization. This is a visa program that the European Union is putting into place. It actually was supposed to start this week, May 7th, which was my birthday, so I could remember. Thank you. But they have postponed it again, and we don't have a date. So this is one of those things that we will communicate to y'all if it does go into effect and we know that you need to purchase it. You do have to buy your own visas. We can't do it for you. The information we have is that it's about 10 euros and it's good for 24 months. So 10 euros is about $12, $13 US. And you can use it for multiple trips. So it's not a huge thing, but it would be something that you want to do about 30 days before departure. So we have multiple ways that you can sign up. We have an online booking link that you can go to. It is in the bottom, the inside of your flyer. It's gateway.gocollette.com.link or /link, and then the numbers. So that is your unique booking link for this trip. can sign up there. And we accept multiple forms of payments, all major credit cards with no processing fees, and then, or you can send in a check or a money order. And to register for the trip, the deposit is $698 a person, plus $549 to cancel for any reason insurance. That deposit is due by October 23rd of this year. However, I would encourage y'all to go ahead and sign up. We have limited spots, and want to make sure that everyone who can go on the trip, it's easier to cancel the trip than it is to sign up after registration starts. And then your final payment will be due next January, January 22nd of 2026. So the total for the trip for double occupancy is $5,448. I got two different insurance prices, but the $549 is correct. I apologize for that. So $549 plus the $5,448 for double occupancy. We do also have single and triple prices within the flyer. So if you're wanting to be a single traveler, you definitely want to go ahead and register as soon as you decide, because we have limited inventory, probably between 3 and 4 spaces at the hotels for a single traveler. And triple would be the same way, limited inventory. So again, the deposit due date is October, and then the final payment is January 22nd. So, like we were saying before, the weather in April in the Alpine countries would be high of 65-ish, and then the low, I think I said 13? No, low of 38, sorry, it's 13. Yes, that is a big difference. But it's also limited rain. The average rain is 1 inch. So, let's see. If there's anything else, does anybody have any questions? So it would be a layer situation. You're probably going to start off with a jacket in the morning and remove them at night. You might want gloves and a hat just to, if you're run on the cold side. And then, like I said, the walking, any type of walking thing you might have trouble walking long distance, you want to go ahead and build up your stamina now. I always want to encourage people to start with 15 minutes at that if they're afraid of that. All hotels have hair dryers, so you don't have to worry about that. Packing, but you will need an adapter to be able to use. Money is the other question we get lots about. What I like to recommend is if you don't already have a credit card that has waives the foreign transaction fee, to look into doing that. The other thing is to make sure you let your bank, whatever card you're planning on using, know that you're going to be traveling. Most of them have, like I just got back from Turkey 2 days ago, and before I went, I was able to go onto my bank's app and just say, I'm going to be in Turkey from these days to these days. It's a very easy process. And then, so what I do is I have a credit card with no foreign transaction fee, and then I'll pull out local currency from the ATM once I get in country. Most ATMs are safe at this point, you know that. Trying to think of what else. Y'all don't have any questions? We'll be flying out of Atlanta. It will be the best schedule that we can. We don't know which airline until we have people register. We won't get a flight schedule, but then we'll be able to answer questions. But you would be able to accumulate any type of Sky Miles by, letting us know your frequent traveler number.
Would be direct? Or? I
don't know if we do fly direct to Bern, or excuse me, it's Munich that we fly into, right? Or Zurich, excuse me. It depends on which airline, whether or not there might be a connection in either Amsterdam or Paris. But we definitely can find that out, run schedules by you guys.
How long is the flight typically?
Yeah, that's a different.
Long.
I would guess, yeah. It depends on, going to Charles de Gaulle is 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I did Israel before, that was 12.
Yeah. That was direct.
Like 9, yeah.
So it's a-
A long time.
Yeah.
We just want to make sure that we're not flying to like Detroit and then over.
Yeah.
We just want to My
Yes.
husband booked a flight to Italy and we went to Detroit first, and so I'm just making sure.
So that's, you know, what you gotta do to be able to get where you're going, but yeah. We
That
do,
was not
the
the
way,
case.
we just, last month, they changed it to where the best schedule comes up versus the best price for our air team, so that's what we're trying to do is accommodate that,
Okay.
yeah.
And that fee includes airfare.
Yes, this includes that airfare, yes, this price does. Yeah, you know, I wish Collette ran the airports as well, but it is, you just put your, you know, just put your patient pants on and roll with it. Know that your trip starts once you get in country.
And you did an excellent job of going through each of the days. Tell me more about, when I say free time, and you said that, you know, different places or whatever.
Mhm.
It sounded like, so we're 4 nights the first time. When we go to another city, is there tour and back? There's no free time in that.
Oh, for the, when you go into
Each of, we're home based,
Mhm.
and it sounds like, and I don't know, it maybe, you know, what is that? I'm assuming it's a bus.
Mhm.
What does that bus ride look like? Are we on a bus for 4 hours in the day, or it's an hour over? You know, again, that not failed geometry. Geography. So I have no idea where these places are to each other.
Right. On the map, it is a very short little area. I can get definitive bus times, but it would be just day trips. So usually you're talking an hour out, at, you know, less than an hour to the area and back to avoid long bus
Right.
or coach times. Yeah, we're way more about spending time in the destination than we are
Okay.
looking at it. So.
And so again, once we're there, sometimes you mentioned there was free time,
Mhm.
but not every time that we did the little day trips.
Yeah.
So based on what you were saying, that's what to expect on certain days we won't have, and we'll just stay with the group.
A lot of times it'll depend on the tour manager and how they feel or what they can offer to you and how, you know, if there's traffic or delays or construction, anything that messes with their timeline. Most of the time on tour, you do have the activity and then you have free time to kind of explore where you are. So that's with the yodeling instructor. And so I'm sure there will be shops around, things, scenery to enjoy, and then there's the lunch place as well. So you probably do have a little bit of free time built in to explore the area. It's probably just a small area. And then the tour manager would set the schedule. But most of the time they're very flexible and they kind of ask, do y'all want an hour? Do y'all need more time? You know, so yeah.
Yeah, never been on a group tour. I book my own stuff,
Right.
we do our own stuff, so this is outside
Little
my
different.
comfort zone and
Yeah.
trying to understand.
Yeah, and you know, there's some the advantage to going, especially to a foreign country with a group tour, is that you don't have to worry about going the wrong way. You know, y'all have a dedicated tour manager who'll be with you the whole time, and they know the area. They're local to the area, and so it's that it eliminates all those. Are we walking the right direction? Are we heading the right direction? But there's a lot of freedom still there. And you're adults. You can do whatever you want to while you're on tour. If there's something, a day you're not feeling well, or you know something that doesn't interest you, you're not required to go. You just need to communicate with the tour manager. So I understand that independence factor. And you can say, hey, I'm not interested in going to the yodeling demonstration. I'm gonna stay here and burn and do X, Y, and Z. So no one, that's no problem. But yeah, there's safety in numbers. It's nice to explore that way. But we want everyone to have the experience that they are looking for on there. So.
Well, I appreciate that you tour guide came to work because I have no navigation.
Right.
But I do have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
We went on a different tour with a different group. This has been several years ago. And one of the things that we did like with this particular group was that we went to London, Antwerp, Amsterdam, Paris, also. And so with our tour, we would go by something like, oh, there's the Tower of London, and oh, there's When your customer did get to actually go in any of those places, and do you get to go in some, okay. So I don't wanna just go by and say, oh, there it is.
I saw it.
Yeah.
Yes, no, and
That was disappointing.
And lots of times, what we'll do is we'll do a walking tour in the area and say, here's where everything is, so that you know where it is in relation to the hotel, and then you have the free time to go back and explore. And it's lots of, it very much mentions when we go into a place, and then other times, that way people can choose what they're more interested in and how they want to spend their time. But yeah, you won't be just seeing it from the coach.
I think that was.
Looking at that?
Yeah.
Great job.
Yes, that was it.
Right, no, I know, especially, and that's one of the things Collette has done really well is we've slowed the pace of our tours, so that people can spend time in destination. Just like I was talking about, just sitting down at a cafe and watching the city go by, just to really see how people live in those destinations and experience the culture. But yeah, we definitely give you time to explore and be go into places. Slower paced is better. So.
And the buses are comfortable.
Yes, the motor coaches are very comfortable. A majority of them have like individual plugs for your phones to plug in and recharge. The seats recline. The air, you can individually control your air.
Important.
Yeah. Oh dear. But yes, they are comfortable. The other thing is I don't think I touched on this, is we take care of your luggage. So like included in all the price is the porterage. So moving from the luggage from the hotel to into the bus and back again. So you'll claim your luggage and have it taken up to your room and then brought back down by the hotel porters. So we try to make it as easy as possible, and you are taken care of while on tour. So the tour manager is there with you guys at all times to answer those questions and to advise. They'll be able to tell you restaurants or an area of town where there are great restaurants to try, and they'll want to show you, because this is their home. They'll want to show you what's great about Bern, what's great about Innsbruck, and really make sure that you experience and see how great their city is. So, our tour managers are the best in the industry, and I don't get to say that just as a marketing tool. They literally are award winning and are required to have excellent ratings to continue to work with Collette.
So from day 1 through 10 or 3, well, no, not 3. Day 1 through 10, we'll have the same tour manager.
Mm-hmm. They'll be with you at all times. You'll have a bus driver who's a separate person as well.
Right.
And then if you did the post-tour extension, it may or may not be the same one. Yeah. But yeah, they'll be the same one. And then what they'll do is they'll bring, if there's a place that more information is needed, they'll bring on a local guide to lead through the tour. But they'll be there to help manage the whole situation.
What's the smallest group that is there any group that is a no-go?
We do not have minimums for our trips to go, so if only the 6 of you sign up for this trip, y'all will get to go. So there's no minimum requirement. We do have a certain amount of space reserved for your group, so that we would encourage that. They might, this tour has limited dates, so I doubt, just because of the weather, we don't mess with the snow in that region. So I don't think that we would cancel the date because there's lots of demand. You might be joined by other groups on that. I have a group, Douglasville County Chamber actually has traveled with us twice now, and they've been matched with a chamber in Alabama, and now they want to do their trips together. So like you're going to meet great people that are Collette people along the way. So because this is a classic tour. And we don't have it as a group exclusive for y'all as you're starting our program, but you can grow into that. The Georgia Chamber, so the statewide chamber, did this tour this time last year, and they had a full bus. They had like 42 people. So it is a popular tour. It's a great overview of this area of Europe. So part of Europe.
Have you been on this tour?
I have not been on this tour. It is one of the areas that I would like to spend more time in. I have been to Lake Lucerne in Switzerland, and absolutely breathtakingly gorgeous. So, and Vienna could possibly be my favorite city in Europe. So I've been to those two separate times. Yeah. So I traveled with Collette to Sicily, and then I just got back from Turkey. So I've been on a couple of Collette tours, and they do it right. They do it right. So, or we do it right. We do it right. So, yeah. Any other questions? All right. Thank y'all so much for having me here tonight and coming in to find out about it. I hope you guys will be able to sign up and join us next year.
Yay, thank you so